Here's why you play Khaleed, the desert scimitar in the EXP lane. First off, he has excellent sustainability, allowing him to heal himself and reduce damage taken with his second skill. He also has strong crowd control, as his ultimate lets him charge into fights while knocking back and stunning enemies. Khaleed excels at burst damage in close combat, using his first skill to deal heavy area damage while pulling enemies toward him. However, he struggles against smoke damage, making it difficult to engage against long-range enemies. He is also vulnerable to crowd control, as being knocked back or airborne can interrupt his sustainability. Khaleed's passive ability, Sand Walk, accumulates desert power while moving. Once fully charged, he glides on sand, increasing his movement speed. His next basic attack deals bonus physical damage and slows the enemy for a short duration. This makes him great at chasing down enemies and setting up fights. Khaleed's first skill, Desert Tornado, whirls his scimitar, dealing physical damage to enemies in the area and pulling them toward him. This skill can be used up to 3 times in a row, making it a great tool for bursting enemies down and keeping them within his attack range. Khaleed's second skill, Quicksand Guard, channels the power of quicksand, restoring his HP and reducing damage taken for a short duration. While using this skill, quicksand appears under him, slowing nearby enemies. However, this ability can be interrupted by knockbacks or airborne effects. Khaleed's ultimate, Raging Sandstorm, rides a sandstorm and charges toward a designated location, dealing physical damage and knocking enemies toward his destination. Upon reaching his target location, he smashes the ground, dealing additional physical damage and stunning enemies. He also fully charges his desert power upon landing. A typical skill combo for Khaleed is to start with his ultimate to charge into the enemy, knocking them back and stunning them. Immediately follow up with his enhanced basic attack to slow them, and use Khaleed's first skill to deal burst damage while pulling enemies toward you. Once the power is fully charged again, use another basic attack for additional damage. If you need to sustain yourself, use Khaleed's second skill to restore HP and reduce incoming damage. Moving on to builds, I usually built Warrior Boots, Blade of the Heptases, Malefic Roar, Sea Halberd, Oracle, and finally Blood Wings. These are the emblems that go along with this build. As for battle spells, the best battle spells for Khaleed in my opinion are Execute to finish off enemies quickly, Flicker for repositioning in fights, or even Vengeance to reduce incoming damage and return some of it to attackers. Khaleed is strong against heroes who lack mobility such as Cyclops and Xavier, as they struggle to escape his first skill and ultimate. However, Khaleed is vulnerable to heroes that can knock him back or interrupt his sustain such as X-Borg and Cho, as they can cancel his second skill and prevent him from healing. Khaleed pairs well with assassins like Roger and Karina, who can finish off enemies after Khaleed softens them up with its area damage and crowd control. You should upgrade first skill at level 1 and prioritize upgrading first skill first. Upgrade second skill as backup, and most importantly, upgrades ultimate whenever available. Khaleed is an aggressive laner who thrives in close combat, so take advantage of his first skill to clear minions and trade damage with enemies. Use his passive to quickly engage or escape, but avoid unnecessary moments when you need to charge it. His ultimate is a powerful initiation tool, so time it well to disrupt enemies and create openings for your team. Be mindful of crowd control, as getting interrupted while using a second skill can leave you vulnerable. When fighting against ranged heroes, look for opportunities to flank or engage from the bushes to minimize incoming poke damage. Lastly, position yourself properly in fights to maximize your sustain while applying pressure to enemies.